Give a shout out to you guys again.
Say we're the best class.
Good morning, good afternoon. We're going to go through some examples that will be on the test on Wednesday. I'm going through this with my 6th-hour class, so if you hear anybody, that's them. Okay, my first example, or number one, it says write an equation in point slope form and slope intercept. Again, we didn't go through that slope intercept, so that will be taken off of the quiz tomorrow and when I go through it today. So in point slope form, I have to write it using passing through this point and having a slope of 2. So I have to remember y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1, where my m gets replaced with my slope. So 2 will get replaced there. X minus my x point, which is always this first one here, so minus a -3, and y minus the 5. Here I can change this minus the negative. I want you to change it to x plus 3. This is your answer. The whole thing has to be correct for you to get that, for you to get 1 point. Oh. All right, the next one, you're going to have a table and you're going to have to write an equation in point slope form. So again, you just need 1 point and the slope to write an equation in point slope form. So y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. So I can choose any one of my points here. If it's not labeled, which tomorrow will not be, your first column is always your x, your second is your y. So I'm going to just choose my first point, so y minus that 25 equals my slope, I'll figure out later, x minus the 100. Okay, it's because this is my x point. I could use 150 and 35 if I wanted to. Okay, my slope, or rate of change, is how much is changing here, this change over this change. So 25 to 35, I'm adding 10. So it's going to be 10 over, and 100 to 150, I'm adding 50. 10 over 50. What you need to make sure to do, though, is to simplify it down. So 10 and 50 can both be divided by 10, right? So this changes to 1/5. And that's all you need to do. 1 over 5. And if I look here, the table shows the temperature at certain hours, assuming the whatever. Anyway, change is linear, write an equation in point slope form to represent the temperature at y at x hours. So I'm just making sure that I'm fulfilling everything it's asking me to do. It's asking me to write an equation in point slope form. Point slope form. Right there. Okay? And it's worth 3 points. And I don't know if this one is for something else, but 1, 2, 3 points there. I believe this point would be for finding that rate of change up here. Okay, the next is write the point slope form of an equation for the line of this graphed line. So this one is going to be my graphed line. So here you can choose either points. You're going to have 2 points. They're going to be distinguished, which they're going to be a little darker, and you're going to write the point slope form of this equation. So choose either one. So up here I'm going to look at this point and I see it's 4 and then 2. So I'm going to do y minus the 2, and you don't need those. The slope will come later, x minus the 4. And then you're going to need to find the slope. So go from this point, go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So my top number is 4, and my bottom number is 1, 2. Over to the right 2. This can be simplified down to 2. So this would be your answer in point slope form. Okay. Okay, the next one, you have to write the equation in point slope form, not slope intercept form, for the line that passes through these 2 points. So You can do y minus, whichever one you choose, doesn't matter. Just make sure the second one goes here, so y minus 5. The slope we will find out in a second. X minus that negative 6. Okay, so x minus a negative 6 changes to x plus 6. You have to change that. Then to find the slope, you need to subtract the y's on top. So 5 minus a negative 3 on top and negative 6 minus a negative 4. Here I have minus a negative, so that becomes positive. Negative 6 minus a negative, again, would become negative 2. 8 divided by a negative 2 is a negative 4. That would go right here. Again, 1, 2, 3 points. Okay, next one is our word problem. Okay, after 3 hours, a car travels 60 miles. After 3.25 hours in the same trip, the car travels 68.75 miles. So write an equation in point slope form to represent the distance y of the car after x hours. So what you could do, so x represents the hours. So 3, if you made a table, 3 hours, 60 miles, 3.25 miles, 68.75. We could make that table, right? Correct? And then you could just do the same thing you did over here with finding that rate of change of the change here would be I'm adding 8.75. Here I'm adding 0.25. So my change of my y would be 8.75 divided by 0.25. 0.75 divided by 0.25 would give me 35. That is the rate of the change, or rate of change, so that's going to be your m. So you're going to do y minus whichever y point you choose. You can choose 60 equals my 35 and x minus 3, which is my x point. And that's all they're asking. Write an equation in point slope form. Point slope form. All right. Last one. You have to tell me the ordered pair, the slope, and then you need to graph it. So here I have y minus 5. So my y point, or my y coordinate, would just be the 5. Then I have over here, I have x plus 4. So the x coordinate would be negative 4. So this would be my ordered pair. My slope would be 5 over 6. You need to plot this point. So from my origin, I go negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and down or up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're gonna pretend like this is a negative because it'll just be easier. So now negative, if I have a negative number, my first number I go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then my second number I go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, sorry. So from this ordered pair, I go down 5 and to the right. Down 5 and to the right 6. So down 5 to the right 6. And I need to connect these with 2 arrows. And that is all.